Morning and welcome to all in the first session of the History and Civics classes. I hope you all are fine and safe at your home. History, a subject related with the date and event in the chronological order. So this chronological order we maintain whether we are having the written record or unwritten record. So it become very bulk in the size. So for our learning, our historian, they have divided into the three part or era: ancient history, medieval history and modern history. About ancient history and medieval history, you have the knowledge in class 6 to 9 onward. In between, a small clue also about your modern history. This year in class 10th, we will start the first phase of modern history for class 10th. The event from 1857 to 1947. So first of all, let us talk about our syllabus. We are having the syllabus where the history is divided into three major parts with the different lessons. That is our content of the lessons. The number one part, the Indian national movement 1857 to 1917. Whatever things happened during this era, that is covered with the five different chapters. Number one, the first war of independence 1857. Then we are having the next chapter, the rise of nationalism. Third, the first phase of the Indian national movement, and then the second phase of the Indian national movement and the Muslim League. After then we are having the second part, that is the mass phase of the national movement 1915 to 1947. Basically in this era maximum part related with Mahatma Gandhi and his contribution. Gandhiji and his contribution is a major part or the major event of the Indian history. So we have in the two chapters but content is same. Then we are having the forward block. That chapter is related with the contribution of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And then finally about our independence and partition of India. This is about our Indian history. The third part related with the knowledge of the contemporary world. That is our third part. The same time period the event took place in the major places of the world. Yes, of course. The First World War and the Second World War. Along with that, the rise of dictators and very important agency, that is the UNO and its agency. At present also we can see the working of the WHO. And then we are having the NAM at the our final group. So this is about our history. Then history is related with the civics portion also. So in our civics portion, we are having the three important heading. Under this heading, we have to cover the different chapter. Number one, the Union Legislature. There we are learning about the Union Parliament. Then we are having the Union Executive. There we are learning about the President, Vice President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Then Judiciary. There we are learning about the Supreme Court, High Court and Subordinate Court. This is about our syllabus. So this much we have to cover this year for upcoming board examination 2020-21. Okay. Regarding with your question paper, you will receive a question paper at same pattern which you had last year in class 9th. The division of mark will be same. 10 questions from the civics, each will carry 1 mark, and 10 questions from history, 2 mark each will carry. Then section 1, 3 out of 2. For the civics you have to attempt, and then the next part section B, 5 out of 3 you have to attempt. So this will be 80 mark question paper. 20 mark will be kept for the internal assessment, which will be added with your answer sheet mark. So this is about your syllabus and about your question paper. Now The very first, come to the chapter side. We will start today our history chapter number 1, the first war of independence 1857. Whenever children remember, you will open the book, you will get a sign left hand side syllabus. There again you will get the name of the lesson. In that syllabus portion, you are getting the information in this chapter what things you have to prepare regarding your board examination. Some places, some of the things I will give you in the marking or in the writing that this is also necessary for your board according to the demand of the chapter. But you have to follow the guideline of the particular syllabus. You are having a syllabus book along with you. So there also you can check about your subject and your syllabus. That will be a best guideline for you all. Okay. Today we will start the chapter, but the pattern of the learning is not a new learning. If you remember, you learn about the Vedic text or the Vedic literature. There what we apply the pattern of the Shruti and Smriti. The teacher or the guru, they used to teach their student because writing was not developed. Today we are having the writing capacity, but we are sitting with the far distancing side. So today we will teach you and then you have to memorize. But one convenient for you all that you are having the notebook, copy and pen. So keep ready with your lessons. The same thing applied in the European country also. So what is the correct? History repeat itself. So let us enjoy your chapter. First of all, we will start with the first war of independence 1857. The story in your book start from the 1857, but we will go at the back how this story created for our country. Our country always good in the money, wealth and economic resource. Even the great rulers ruled it in our country. We gain name and fame. In 16th century, there were a revolutionary change came in the European continent. Basically, last three chapter of your history that related with them, the rebirth of the European society. There we have seen how they have gone under change. One point you remember that was the sea exploration and the industrial revolution. Under this system, the Britain in the 16th century, it was governed by a lady mighty ruler. She was Queen Elizabeth I. Under her leadership, the British started gaining the power with the land route and with the sea route. Yes, during those era, British defeated the Spanish Armada at the site of naval field and controlled the navy power. So this power was utilized by the Queen Elizabeth in the different way. What she did under her leadership, many of the trading companies they came in the different part of the world. One trading company named with the English East India Company, it moved to the side of India by the sea. They reached in India. When they reached in India, we had the central rule of the Mughal dynasty and the ruler was the Jahangir. Captain William Hawkins and Sir Thomas Roe both visited and asked permission for the trading activities. They were the trading company and they asked permission for the trading activity. They came for the business of spice in our country because our spices were best quality in the world and profitable also. So the Mughal ruler granted the permission with the terms and condition. In this way, when the terms and condition was given, they started their business. It was smooth till the era of the Aurangzeb because they were under the control of the Mughal Empire. But after the death of Aurangzeb, the decline of Mughal Empire started. The whole empire was disintegrated into different parts. And during those era, there were the group of the Rajput, Maratha, Sikh, and many other states. They were also very powerful. But What was the weakness of our country? That the rulers of our country, they were not united, and many other weaknesses during the rule of the ruler in their internal family matter, because everybody want crown. So this was keen observed by the British company member. They were well familiar in the course of time, the money and the wealth and resources of our country. They were having the factory and they know the rich resources of our country. So first they attracted with the money, later on time period they started dreaming how to expand their power in our country. And under this system only a time period came when they started expanding the power. So the our country, the political power, our kings, now country is divided into the numerous part of the state governed by the kings and the nawab, but they did not have a common unity and family also. They were having the different afford, and another side the rich resources that given a plan in the British mind. Afterward, they started their journey of expansion, and that brought a furious result to our country. But how? The different section of the society, our rulers, our farmers, our talented middle class people, then our traders, our merchant, everyone got affected with the British rule, and then finally they started thinking to revolt, and it came in the form of the first war of independence. So we have to start our lesson here. Do one thing. First of all, you write down the name of the lesson as you are writing. The first war of independence, comma 1857. The first war of independence, comma 1857. Leave one line. Now you write the another heading. Causes of the first war of independence. Causes of the first war of independence. Then do one thing, leave one line, write in the Roman letter point 1, political causes. Political causes. After writing the political causes, write number 1, policy of expansion. Policy of expansion. Political causes. Political causes. At present, you can see the different political party. They are ruling over the different state of our country. We are having one central government, but in our state we are having not same government, means at various places different government is ruling. So whenever the political causes will come, that will be calculated with their working or activities. During those era, our country was governed by the king and nawabs. So how their life, their system was affected by the policy of the company, that we will read in this particular paragraph. Number 1 heading, policy of expansion. The first British, they enter at the side of Bengal. Bengal, one of the richest, fertile and valuable province of our country. Today we can see in our map that is the West Bengal. But earlier it was a very broad area, even the area of the Bihar, Assam and Orissa, and also the present Bangladesh. It was the part of our Bengal. So it was very rich and fertile. And not only in India, popularity of Bengal was in abroad from the ancient time period. So the British East India Company, one of the company worker, he was very clever. His name was the Robert Clive. In his time period only, the Bengal Nawab, he lost the Battle of Plassey 1757 due to the policy of his own family member. and it created that first the British they laid their foundation with the Battle of Plassey in our country. The British rule started, company rule started. So first of all, in the Battle of Plassey 1757, our army was defeated without any reason, without any cause. And the Britishers, they were having only one policy in our country and applied in many ways. That was the policy of divide and rule, which they were successful at the first attempt of the Bengal, and it resulted later on rest of the weakness, political weakness exposed in front of the company member. So now they applied in the various way through the different war. So under this heading we are having the point A, that is known as the by outright war. After the Battle of Plassey, the next battle was at the same place at the Battle of Buxar. It was in 1764. Nawab of Bengal, disposed Nawab of Bengal, then Nawab of Awadh and the Mughal Emperor. They were having the combined force against of the British company, but once again they were defeated, and that given a proper way of the establishment of the company rule over India. Yes, it resulted, really it gave a strong position. The British company became master in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, and indirectly also they were having the control over the Awadh and the Mughal area under the Treaty of Allahabad. Then they have to face another war because we had the mighty ruler, but what was the main problem? They did not have the proper unity. If they had the unity, in that condition first they have to think they can defeat the small trading company, but they did not have the unity. So another war with Mysore, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan, war with Maratha, that is the Peshwas, and then about the another places like the mighty Sikh kingdom. One by one they were defeated by the British company. So very long time period it took for them. Then we are having the next heading, write down, by subsidiary alliance. By subsidiary alliance. Have you written? Subsidiary alliance. The company was governed by time to time with the many powers. Means different lords. They used to take the charges of the company. Under this charge, under this charge they were having their own policy of expansion. So this time Lord Wellesley, he decided if like this they will fight the different war, in that condition it will create a heavy cost for their army. They have to spend a lot of money for their army, and they have to spend a lot of time period and resources in the different wars in our country. So he brought a different formula. This formula was placed before the Indian ruler because in the another part of the nature of Indians they were the pleasure loving, means the lazy attitude. So this time he was well prepared and then he placed his plan before the Indian ruler. Some of them by desire and some defeat ruler they have to accept without having any desire because they did not give any other option. And that was the subsidiary alliance. Under this Britishers said if any state will sign over the subsidiary alliance, the state internal and external security will be provided by the British company. The ruler will be free from this type of situation, and then another hand the company will take the charge of the revenue of the state, and the ruler will keep the company army at their own charges and administration, and then the ruler has to maintain their law and order. Some of the rulers they did not observe the real motto of the British company, and only for the time being they accepted easily. But later on it created a furious result for the Indian ruler. The reason, the rulers now they were getting the pension, and that was also decreased in the pace of time period. Then they were keeping the British army, so the British company was free from the army burden. Their salary, their equipment and their care, everything was controlled by the kings of or the Nawab of the state. Then the ruler, they lost their own sovereignty or independency in their own state. That was the another cause. Then the next one, that was the by using the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse, right down. C point is by using the doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse during those era in India. It was a social permission or a culture. If the ruler or in the society people, if they do not have, they did not have their own son, in that condition they are free to adopt a son, whether they are the Hindu community or the Muslim community. There were no objection. It was a social improvement by the society. And the adopted child, they used to get all the right as a natural child. So it was running in our country. This was the custom. But the Lord Dalhousie, he wanted to get all the area very soon under the control of the company rule. So he decided, he brought a policy that the state, those who are not having the natural heir, if they are adopting any son without consent of the company, in that condition, the adopted child would only get the parental property, maybe jewelry, some land or the palaces. But they will not take the charge of estate. State will automatically fall in the hand of the British company. So it was a forceful situation. Many of the state, they opposed this system, but they were compelled. That was the Satara, Jhansi, Nagpur and many more states in our country. They become the victim of this doctrine of lapse. Then point number D, on the pretext of elect misrule, on the pretext of elect misrule, or on the pretext of maladministration over Awadh. Awadh, the Nawab of Awadh under the subsidiary alliance, always they were getting a demand from the British government, and they tried their level best to complete it. Lord Dalhousie purposely made a plan. He demanded a very huge amount of money from the Nawab of Awadh, which Nawab was unable to meet. So he put a chart that the Nawab of Awadh is not a good ruler, because some revolt came for reducing the different charges. The Nawab also take the different step. So the some simple revolt started. That was the part of the plan of Lord Dalhousie. So Nawab was disposed by the Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie clarified the Awadh Nawab is not a able ruler, and the Awadh required a good government, which can be only provided by the British company. So after the dispose of the Nawab, the Awadh, rest of the member, those who were related with the administration, those who were related with the peasantry, rest of the people, they had to pay the high taxes, either they were jobless, and the very furious problem that was with the army member. Means a large amount of army members, they were without job. Some of them they joined the British army, and some of them still unemployed. So when the revolt started, they were having the revolt in the mind of the government, and finally when the revolt started, they had given or they have supported their Nawab. Now you note down the point number 2. Disrespect shown to the Bahadur Shah Zafar. Disrespect shown to the Bahadur Shah Zafar. I hope you remember the name of Bahadur Shah Zafar. Who was Bahadur Shah Zafar? The last Mughal emperor. And in his time period only, the Lord Dalhousie first he said that after you yourselves they will be not permitted to live in the red fort. They have to leave the red fort and they have to go and somewhere they have to settle nearby the Qutub Minar. Afterwards, the Lord Canon he said, after you, your successor, they won't get permission to use the royal titles. It means the end of the Mughal era, a silent way they have declared by themselves. So they will not use the Mughal title. It means they are not entitled for the pension. So it was a great insult for the Mughal and the Muslim community. So everybody supported when the revolt started. Then we are having the third heading related with the treatment given to Nana Saheb and Rani Lakshmi Bai. Treatment given to Nana Saheb and Rani Lakshmi Bai. Nana Saheb, he was the son of the Peshwa Bajirao II, but he was the adopted son. Whenever you will discuss or write about Nana Saheb, the word you will use adopted son of Bajirao II. So he was getting a pension after his father. But the Britishers, they stopped the pension. They stopped the pension of Nana Saheb. And they said instead of Kanpur, he has to settle somewhere at the side of the Pune. In such way, Nana Saheb had a great grievances because everybody accepted him as the son of Bajirao II. One side he lost his identification and another side he lost his pension. So that was the grievances of Nana Saheb. He lost his pension. Same way, the Rani Lakshmi Bai, she was the victim of the doctrine of love. And in the same way, they both become the part of the revolt individually and combined way. Then we are having the next heading. It is written about the absentee sovereignty of the British. In India, during the medieval era, you read the early raids means the people from the Turks and from the Mongol many area they invaded our country. There were the establishment of Delhi Sultanate with the various rulers. Along with that, afterward there were the Mughal rule established in our country. But what was the main criteria? When the rule established in our country, the ruler, they left their homeland and then they started ruling India by themselves. They stay back in India and one by one they were in our country. They collected our revenue, but they were having the equal, we can say they treated our Indian citizen as the equal for themselves, equal subject. So they were in India and they had given a proper attention to our people, just like their own people. It resulted the Indian people they did not face much problem. In course of the time we can see there were the different ways they brought the two communities in the proper way. Until now we are united. But in the matter of the British company, it was a company rule who were the traders and they came for the purpose of profit. The main company people they were at the side of England and that was very far away. Today we are having the aircraft. During those days we have to go by the only sea. It resulted whatever information they used to send, they used to the people of England, they used to accept it. It resulted in India. They collected the good amount of money and they used to send in Britain. and they were not bothered about our people. So in such way, these all become the political causes for the first war of independence related with the ruler and the Nawabs of our country. Now we will have the second part. You will write in Roman letter. That will be the second. That is the socio-religious causes. Socio-religious causes. Under the socio-religious causes, it was a very sensitive, we can say, cause for the Indian society. Social causes normally related with the society, and especially when it is associated with the religion, it become more sensitive. So in India, when the Britishers they started ruling, so some places they were correct, but due to our social culture, they were not, they were misunderstood by our people in some ways also. Number one, write down interference with the social custom. Interference with the social custom. Interference with the social custom. What was the social custom? During those era, it was not any charge over the British people. During those era, our society was really a backward society. We were facing a lot of social complicated problem. Basically, there were the division of the caste, but very important problem, discrimination between the male and female, and certain rule over the female side that really added problem more in our country. There were the custom of the sati. Sati custom, I hope you all remember. After the death of the husband, the woman has to also burn herself with the funeral cry of the husband. It resulted, it was the very cruel custom. And then there were the another important problem of the widow. Means very early age, at the age of the 6 or the 7 or 8, girls were getting the marriage, and even the after marriage very soon, if the husband is dead, they were considered as the widow, and they have to spend a very miserable and neglected life. Like this, they were not given education in our country, and even after the birth of the girl child, they were also killed by the people. So all types of the cases related with the women section and even the problem of illiteracy that was deep in our country. It was the time period in our India. Some of the social reformer they started campaign against of these system, and later on they were helped and supported by the British governors. Yes, for the first you write abolition of sati custom. Abolition of sati custom. That was in 1829. Abolition of sati custom. Under this custom, this came as an act by the Lord William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck. And the next one, that is the Widow Remarriage Act. This was passed by Lord Dalhousie, a well-experienced in our country, but really he did this good job or great work over the Indian society, especially for the women section. That was the effort of the Ishwarchandra Vidyasagar and completed by Lord Dalhousie. And then we can see the education system. But these two, especially the abolition of sati custom and the widow remarriage, did not accepted by our society because people were illiterate, and then the people did not accepted easily this custom. So they found it that the Britishers they are interfering in their culture and in their custom. So the next heading, That is the apprehension about modern innovation. About the modern innovation. During those era, Lord Dalhousie, for the company rule, he brought the two important system that was the really very creditable or gift of the British rule in our country. One is the telegraphy and one is about the railway system. Like this is the great contribution of the Lord Dalhousie. So our people, they were illiterate, and when the people are illiterate, they used to follow in mass the words of the people. At present, you have seen in the mass people gathered at the side of the Noida, at the side of the Mumbai. One spread the message that our people are sending the things, transportation, you all gather and go back to your home. So everybody is gathered. Why? Because they are illiterate people and they believe very simply. Same condition during those era. So when the telegraph system was established, that time we were having the wire and the pole. It is for convenience of the communication system, because already Britishers, they established themselves in the all over India, and they have to convey their message for the purpose of administration and the purpose of trade. But our Indian people, illiterate people, what they brought the concept that these poles, they will harm the people if they will speak ill about the British government. So in that condition, they did not accepted it. Same thing for the railway compartment. Railway brought for the convenience of the transportation for the goods and the people's loading from place to place. But in our country, people started telling to each and other, it is for the spoiling of their caste. How male and female, how Brahman and the other lower caste, they will sit together in the same compartment. After one journey, if the train is not was, it means their the Brahman, they will lose their casteism and also under this the modern innovation that was not accepted by the people. But in the next chapter, you will read that how the people utilize the modern innovation for the feeling of growth of the nationalism. Policy of racial discrimination. It is true, during those era, the European people, they used to consider themselves as the superior race, as they are the fair complexion people, and they used to believe European country, they are meant for the ruling, and the Asia and the African country, they should be ruled by them. They are having this type of the superiority complex that they are superior in all the fields. So they created on the basis of the color or the race. So what they used to do? They used to discriminate at many public places. They did not give permission to the Indian to enter in their public places like the different club, different garden, hotels. They have written clearly, dogs and Indians are not allowed. Dogs and Indians are not allowed. That was the very important point. And in such way, the people of our country, they were humiliated of this system. According to them, earlier they have the crusade with the people of the Arabian side. So they used to believe, they used to consider for the Muslim group, they are the barbarian group. They had the corruption in the administration. Point 4. Corruption in the administration means they were the company people and they used to utilize their all the things for their own purpose. So time to time they used to collect the bribe from the simple people or from the rich people. In that condition, there where the corruption started. Then the poor people, they also become the victim because the rich people, they used to give the bribe and they were getting the punishment through the British authorities. The next heading we are having activities of the missionaries. Activities of the missionaries. In India, the missionaries came and entered, they served the different purpose. And later on time period, some attitude was changed and the Britishers, they started interfering in the activities of the local and the social custom of our Indian people. So the people of our country, they believe they did not have any interference with their own culture or the religious places, but they are interfering to us. So for the spoiling of their religion. Then we can see then we can see the next, fear regarding Western education. This was the effort of the Raja Ram Mohan Roy for the Western education. He thought when the people of our country, they will be literate not only with the Indian subject, with the learning of English and different scientific subject of the Europe once again. So in that condition, they will change their life. They will change their life. It was a good thought. Many Western education center established in our country. But in India, already we have the pattern of education. It was governed by the Maulvis or by the Pandit in our country. Maulvis and Pandit means the Maulvis, they used to impart the education to the Muslim community, and the Pandit, they used to impart the education for the Hindu community, but it was limited for only male people. Boys were getting the education, the medium was either Sanskrit or the medium was the Arabic or this language. So the Western education introduced in our country, and later on the education for the girls. So the Maulvis and Pandits, they were influenced over the illiterate society of our country, and they brought a wrong attitude that they said if the children will learn in the Western education, they will convert themselves into the different religion, and then when the girls will learn, they will become widow very soon. So this type of the concept, they started spreading in our country, and the innocent people, they started believing the world. Till now the religious people are misleading and people are following them. So in this condition also, people found that they are attacked by the Britishers for their social or the religious custom, and they were having the fear with the rule of this government. Taxing religious place. Yes. During the Sultanate, or especially you read about the Mughal era, when you read about the Aurangzeb, he became unpopular. Why? Because he imposed Zatya, a type of religious or the poll taxes. So in our country now, the Britishers once again, they started taxing our religious places, and then the religious places, they have to pay the taxes whether they are governed by the Hindu temples or the mosque. Both community, they were disheartened with the attitude of the ruling government company rule, and then they were not happy with the work of the Britishers. The next we are having the law of the property. Law of property. Law of property means 1850, one law was passed or changed. Some people by their own desire or some people by their own means, they used to convert themselves from one religion to another religion. According to this law, the Hindu, those who converted into the different religion, they were also entitled for their parental property. Suppose one person in the family converted himself into the another religion. So afterwards also he will have the right over the family property in the house, in the land and rest of the thing. So in the same family, how the two religion people can survive with the property right? It really brought another serious condition in our society. So people of our country, they were against of the British culture. Now the next heading we are having with the economic cause. So first you have learned about the political causes. Under the political causes, many sub causes are there. And then the second heading, we are having social religious causes. And another important heading that is related with the economic cause. What is economic? Today also you can see the crowd of the people. Two times it happened at the side of the Noida, at the side of the Maharashtra. Recently in this lockdown situation, people are running here and there. Why? Because they lost their livelihood. Not only them, you can see the problem for the different levels that people lost their livelihood. And in this condition, what we can say that the people at present our government is arranging, but what was the picture during those era, once we will focus upon them. That is the economic causes. Exploitation of economic resource. In India, what was the economic resource? India was the land of agriculture. Our country was the land of agriculture and we were lucky. We were growing both type of the crop. Food crop also and cash crop also. You know the difference between the food crop and the cash crop? Food crop we are using to for our survival and nutrition, and the cash crop normally we are having for the purpose of our economic meal, that is giving a base to the industry. It is used for the industrial raw material. So in India, the food and the cash, that crop was grown in the proper order when we had our own rule. British company, when they entered in our country, what was their purpose? They were first having the business of spices and later on they attracted with the cotton, jute or indigo. Why? Because this was demanded in the British company for the raw material in their cotton industries. Meanwhile, they developed the industrial revolution. So now they used to compel our farmer to grow the one type of the crop, and that was the cash crop. They were having the demand, not only the growing the crop, they were having the demand that it should be sold to the company member with the minimum price rate. For agriculture, our farmers, they required the seed, they required fertilizers, they required the different activity. So first they have to spend a amount for the growth of agriculture. Later on, when they are selling their produce in the market, they are getting the profit, and then only in that condition they are maintaining their charges. It was smooth under the our rural time period. But now the farmers are compelled to grow the cash crop. There were the shortage of the food crops in our country slowly. Now, people's life affected worstly. So cash crop also for the company people. Means they have to grow the cash crop and they have to sell with the minimum price rate. And another side, they have to pay the revenue to the company, the land taxes and also the produce taxes. That was additional burden for the Indian farmer. Meanwhile, they were unable to pay all these loans, so they have to go to take the help. They were taking the help of a middle person, and that was known as the money lenders. They were giving the money, but once an innocent farmer fall in the hand of the money lender, and what they used to do, they used to exploit. Means giving 1 rupee and taking the thumb impression, and they are telling you have taken the 10 rupees. And throughout the life, a farmer was unable to pay the money. It resulted it resulted a miserable life of the Indian farmer or peasantry started. In that cycle only a farmer was by birth poor until the death, and even he was poor in the all time. So the money lenders, when the people they were unable to pay the taxes, now they are compelled to sell their money, they have to sell their land, they have to give their cattle, they have to give their jewelry, even the all of the utensils, and finally they were compelled for the bounded labor. We can say the final level of the exploitation, that was the bounded level. And this bounded labor that developed in our country under the company rule. So one side our agriculture was exploited along with our Indian farmer. A complete exploitation started. Then in the next heading we are having drain of wealth. The next heading we are having drain of wealth. When you will read in the next chapter number 3, there you will read about this theory in more detail. Yes, the theory of the drain of wealth, one of the book written by Dadabai Naroji. And there he explained how the British exploited India with this theory. Yes, this theory is related drain of wealth. Earlier, when the Britishers they started their work in our country, that time what they used to do means first they used to bring the gold coin and they used to give as the taxes. For any business, we required export and import charges. But meanwhile, when they started when they started exploiting our country, then they were free from the burden of the export and import taxes. Means now they used to buy the very simple means is they were compelled to farmer to give the minimum amount of the price rate of their crop. So they used to send to the Britain without paying any taxes or the charges. They were not giving any export charges. And when the same thing they used to manufacture in their market, and once again they were bringing to India as for selling, for bringing the things export and import, both charges they neglected. That was the loss of our people. Along with that, the revenue, and along with that they got the market in our country, that was their another corruption. And the revenue of our country which they collected by the Indian people, a big part they used to send in their own nation, and rest of the things they used to maintain for the company people as their salary, livelihood, and rest of the accommodation. So they were not bothered about our people. So day by day our condition become worse and worse. So in that condition only we have sent our money to the Britain, and in the back we did not accept or we did not get any money from the British side. It resulted it resulted a complete drain of wealth. Our country become poor and poor. So during the era of the company only we can say that our life means our agriculture and the life of the people that was completely affected. So all the section of the society, rest of the point we will read in the next time period. But before it, whatever is taught to you, I am telling once again, Shruti and Smriti, that you apply with your chapter. So note down the point, and once you revise, at least you can take one learning that what was the political causes. 4 point you got, that point you can revise. Then about the socio-religious causes, the point which you written, that you can revise. Many more things are there. When you will get the proper book, we will discuss that time, but slowly you can start your revision work also. In that way we can say that the next point, 2 point I have discussed with you, I think it is quite enough for you today's learning. And next time when I will meet you, that time we will learn more other point. We will focus, we will complete the economic causes and then military and immediate causes and some consequences, whatever we can complete. But slowly start learning and keep yourself fine, good, healthy, and be happy in your families. Thank you.